Hi again, folks. In this nightcap, I'm just going to throw some random Sabres talk. Coming up. I got total mental block, guys, when it comes to my videos right now. I just, I know you've requested some, guys, but some of those videos, it takes like let's say the Where Are They Now? I got a request. Yes, it's on the list. I forget who asked, but I'm going to get on it. I'll get on these videos, but sometimes these videos take hours of research and time and to just throw 8 or 10 minutes at you. You know what I mean? So I've got to jump on that, but I need the time, and I haven't had it with everything I had to deal with last week. So yeah, I'll get on that. I'll get on the request, guys. Some of you that might have asked for a request, I better throw this out there because there's a few things I want to just talk about here. I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I just know when I'm in the mood to talk, I just do these type of videos. There is some requests that some of you threw at me a little over a month ago now, guys. Don't ask me how I did this. In my video, editing video account, what I'll do is I'll delete a bunch of stuff. And when I deleted it, I deleted some of those requests before I put them in my box to save, and I lost about 5 or 6. I think it was 4 or 5. So if I told you I'm going to get on a video and I haven't done it yet, and it's about a month ago, do me a favor, post it again what you asked for, if you remember, and I'll jump on it, because I just haven't had, I forgot to mention this in previous videos. I just got so caught up with trying to do what I could do that I keep forgetting to mention this, and it's one of those things I've done. I'm wrong. Okay, I screwed up. Don't ask me how I did that. I did. I mean, it's one of those things where lapse of memory, who knows, you know, I'm all caught up in some like good movie I've been into or whatever, and I'm going to throw a gem at you guys if you like movies. See the movie called Cosmos, okay? Cosmos. It's an indie movie. Not a high-budget movie. I even been in touch with the directors of this movie. My God, what a gem! And it is a gem. I loved it. So if you're into anything like that, any kind of like space, aliens, anything like that, it's a really good, heartwarming story too about friendship and everything. Really good movie. Really, really good movie. Check it out. All right, so I want to toss. Now that I've got off the movie subject and the apology subject, I want to get on a little bit about the Sabres because, you know, the season's around the corner. I got to get to the store and get some water. And you know, as the season approaches, I'm a little uptight because the Sabres have, for the first time in quite a while, really got my hopes up this year that something special can happen. And I don't see any reason to be upset if it doesn't happen, because the majority of us feel, me included, kind of, you know, that this is another season of learn, another season of development for the future, what's going to happen in the future. And, you know, people will even ask, hey, you know, how come you guys don't max your cap out? Well, we got contracts coming up in the future. We want to be able to manage those, not be crunched when it comes to cap time. And it really is that simple. You know, you got to keep that cap space open because of 2 years from now, not because of this year. Don't need to max it out. I mean, I would love to see the Sabres throw like some high ticket name in there. I really would. I mean, but I know I'd regret it you know, in the future. I'd regret it somehow, because then we chance losing one of our youngsters. And I'm really excited for this this bunch to develop, because I want to see what they become. Like, if Tage Thompson can develop like this, what else are we looking at? This is what I'm asking. Tage Thompson wasn't one of those first rounders I was banking on to be a star. He just wasn't. You know, I was hoping his ceiling was like maybe a 20-goal season in the future. I wasn't thinking he would do what he did last year. And now I'm thinking about 50 goals for this guy, because he's, you know, once we put him at center, it seemed like his career changed completely. Really. It's, you know, he was way more comfortable in the middle of the ice because he had that room. And that can happen to players. It can happen, yes. We've seen it happen to other players that all of a sudden just got really, you know, developed. we've seen great wingers in our history. We've seen like Mike Bossy, Guy Lafleur. We've seen great wingers, there's no doubt. But maybe it just wasn't in the cards for Tage in this era, especially the transition era, to not be in the middle. You know what I mean? To get the big guy in the middle really is working, so I'm excited about that. I'm wondering, well, you know, these thoughts come in my head. Will Cousins really take a step this year and be like another big centerman that is really producing? Because if all these guys reach their potential like we think they all can, how are we going to pay them all? You know, this is the thing. How are the Sabres on God's green earth ever going to be able to pay all these guys? There's too much talent. And that's going to be rough. I guess there's a way, and they'll figure a way, but it's going to be rough because we have a lot of potential on this team. And if at all these guys reach their potential like Tage did, and we better lock in, if that happens, we better lock in Granato for like 20 years. Forget like a few years. We better lock him in forever, this guy. If we ever see other guys take big, big steps this year, my goodness, you know. And it would be fitting for this guy, personally, that we make the playoffs and Vegas misses. That for me would be fitting. That, yeah, that would be a fitting story. And the Sabres not only make the playoffs, make noise in the playoffs too, upset whoever in the first round, push whoever to Game 7 in the second round, and I'm good from there. From anything after that is just icing on the cake after that for this guy, after that. So I am looking forward to the season, but I'm a little uptight. I'm a little nervous, guys. I am. Because, you know, if we take a step back, it's going to be real painful for us and for the organization and for, like, the fan base that, you know, to fill the building and things like this. I want to see things come back to normal in Buffalo. I want to see them take a step. I want to see the crowds come back. I want to see the whole excitement come back, you know. This is why I made that RJ video today. It was on my mind, you know. Like, I'm just remembering just how magical the crowd was that night, watching it, you know, and that's really who the Sabres fans are. You know, that's their real identity. That's how it felt for me that night. It's like everybody was talking about, wow, what a crowd. I was used to seeing crowds like that for decades, not just, you know, even not living there. I was used to seeing that. Anytime Sabres would play, it was a packed house. So I want to see these days come back in Buffalo. I want to see the team winning again. I want to see the team competing, contending, and eventually winning the Stanley Cup. So, I mean, this is what this whole thing is about, is that we eventually hit the promised land and we look back at everything and everything just makes sense, how it all happened. You know, it just, all the suffering and all the heartbreak, and we've had so many heartbreaks in our history, so many heartbreaks, and it can only mean there's a championship. I mean, you know, it can only mean that's the eventual truth to the end of that, is that there's a championship on the horizon. There has to be. There has to be. It wouldn't make sense otherwise. There's been too many times we've come close, the Sabres. You know, they've come close. They've, you know, we've made it to 2 finals. And sooner or later, we're going to break through. I just believe it. And I would love to see it happen in a year where none of us expect it. That's how I'd love it to happen, that it just happens. And we're like, oh my God, like we're in the Final Four. And then the next thing, we're in the semifinals up 3-0. We're like, oh my goodness, like this is really happening. Like it's all happening so fast. And it's kind of what happened with the LA Kings. You know, I compare that year, the Islanders in 80. But Islanders wasn't that big of a shock because the year before they were first overall and they choked again and all that stuff. But in 80, they had a crap year and they broke through in the playoffs. And that is what can happen. But we're in that era. That's what can happen in this era. You don't have to have a ton of playoff experience like you used to break through and win it all. We're in a very strange era of hockey, folks. We are. And if we can break through, with a bit of luck, it'll take some luck. We know that game. It's a game of luck also, hockey. You know, the breaks and the crazy bounce off the boards and all sorts of things. You know, the lucky fluke goal that goes in late in the game or whatever. And all of a sudden we find ourselves a win from the Stanley Cup Finals again, how would you guys feel? Let me ask you. How would you guys feel if we're like a win from the Stanley Cup Finals in 2 years from now or 3 years from now? You know, it's fun to think about, eh? For me, it's one of those things that I just, I always think of these thoughts, guys, before the season opens. I always go there. I do. I'm guilty. I do. I always go there. I always get ready that way. I always think about, you know, the what ifs, because we're owed. We're owed, you know, not just 99, 2006. There's a few things that the hockey gods kind of owe us a bit. They owe us a bit of back pay. So we'll see what happens. And maybe we get a chunk of that this year with a surprising season, because we're one of the teams. I'd say if you're going to pull 5 surprise teams out of the league this year that could do really good, the Sabres probably would be one of the best surprises, because, again, they haven't maxed out their cap. They're sitting there as one of the lowest paid team in hockey, once again. But there's more potential this year, even though we're still like, we're really the lowest paid team in hockey, guys. Think about it, because of the contract with the goalie. My God, I forget his name right now. Don't ask me why I forget his name. But we got the big goaltending contract, the $5 million deal that we got from Dallas. My goodness, Tampa's goalie. How can I forget his name? I forget his name. Go figure. But it's, you know, if we can go that route this year, and don't forget we had 19 million, but this is where I believe Granato's smart. He's banking that other 5, the Ben Bishop, that other 5 million, okay, the Ben Bishop deal. So we really have 24 million in space. We're not really at 19, we're at 24. Let's not forget that. That's something that kind of slips our mind maybe when we just look, right? So we've got all that money banked, and we got Okposo's contract ending at the end of this year. So it's really 30 million we have, not 19, if you do the math. So I trust what Adams is doing with the money. I trust what he's doing with the team, because he's changed the culture with the lowest paid team in hockey. He did it with the lowest paid team in hockey. I don't want to start ranting. I better be careful. I'm going to wrap this up in a sec. So if we can go this year, go that route of development, potential surprise, same mentality, same gung-ho mentality that we're not going to be scared of nobody and we're going to fight hard every game. And whoever looks at our team says, my goodness, over there something's happening now. Something's happening in Buffalo right in front of our eyes. Because a lot of fans see only one thing, folks: wins and losses. They don't read the in-betweens. They just don't. That's another era we're living in, especially with the younger fans. They just see wins and losses. They're kind of conditioned that way, that we're in that era of speed, wins, and losses. That's it. And now we have a chance, I think, this year to really take, especially a lot of crowd out there that doubts us, and wean them in. This is an opportunity this year. It's kind of the way I'm looking at it. So I am hyped for the season. I want the season to get underway. And I am excited even about the goat head jerseys coming out. That's why I put on the goat tonight. I'm excited about those. I'll be getting one for the channel eventually, of course. And I think that our reverse retro this year, okay, I wouldn't buy the other ones. I mean, it has to be the goat head or I'm just not going to buy it. I'll tell you right now. There's no point me buying any jersey unless it's a goat head in these colors as the reverse retro. That's the only time I'll get it. So, all right, I think I've rambled enough, guys. Done for the night. I will try to come up with some ideas for tomorrow. I've got some ideas rolling in my head already. So this is how I find those ideas, is by rambling on in videos, talking to you guys. I'll see you tomorrow. And thanks for the nice email, Jim. I appreciate that. That was a very nice email I got from one of our guys on the channel here. Jim sent me a nice email talking about the channel. Appreciate it. And I will see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.